merry meet and fare thee well. Settle in for a story with me, Astin Gaël. Thank you so much for being here today. This is your every other day collective message for June the 14th. We are almost halfway through the entire month of June. And if you have yet to grab your free reading and you identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and or are an indigenous person, be sure to go check out the shorts feed. All of the details are in there, and I would love to connect and give you your free reading. Okay, everything else you need to know is in the description box down below. If you find yourself saying, man, I really enjoy these messages, and I bet so-and-so would too, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It boosts it in the algorithm. Drop a hello in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on an upload, and share it with so-and-so. Did you know shares help boost these videos too? The more it gets out there on the other social medias, the more it gets seen, the bigger the community grows. And I've already told you, especially if you identify as a trans man or a trans mask, you want to join in on this community now. I've got big things coming in the fall. All right. Enough business, right? We are working our way through what there is to love about a man. Every day we read an excerpt and we create a short story around the theme of that excerpt with our tarot cards. Do we always stick to the theme? Absolutely not. But we try our best anyways. Today's theme is fears. Men aren't allowed to be scared. That takes away your masculine. Shut up, Brenda. I'm fucking terrified of scorpions, snakes, and several other things, okay? Including heights. Believe what you like, but terror sometimes stalks the heart of a man. He is deathly afraid of dying, of losing his youth, his vigor, his vim. He can't shake loose of the fear that someone or something somehow wants to reel him in and tie him down and shove a cold, hard bit into his mouth. Believe what you will, but a man is so afraid of a woman. He fears he will lose his mind under her enchanted spell, that he will lose his balance and be swallowed up by a tsunami wave of womanly wiles, that she will eventually see him for what he is and leave him brokenhearted. A man without work can become nearly paralyzed by fear. He feels without identity, without means, without stature, and fears he is invisible. You can believe what he tells you, but know this true. A man lives in fear of his fears. You know who I recommend working with if you find yourself fearing your fears? The Morrigan. Let me tell you, bitch is fucking scary, okay? She visited me during my last psychedelic experience. I have them often because cannabis is a psychedelic, but I'm talking about my big one, my annual trip. She came to me in her wolf form while I was in this studio meditating, doing yoga, tripping on psychedelics. That was fucking terrifying. But what was even more terrifying was feeling like I died. I was laying here on this yoga mat, and I swear to you, it feels like my fucking heart stopped. She takes me to the edge of the world and the underworld. I came back a sovereign individual. I have noticed in my dreams recently my ability to take over the dream that used to overtake me and walk out. All I'm saying is, if you be scared, the Morrigan will help you. She's gonna scare you a little bit first, but it's like exposure therapy. Yeah, she exposes you to her scariest parts, and then she's like, I was just kidding. We can be friends. So, the Morrigan. Fears. Fear reminds me of chaos, because I feel like a lot of people fear chaos. So we're gonna use the deck of chaos. I'd like to add to this deck soon, just, one or two more decks of random playing cards. But I just got a new deck, so I'd probably better hold off. All right, tell me about fear. There's a fear of sadness, a fear of loss. Three of Cups. Somebody might have blue eyes, brown hair, and like the color green, that is experiencing this fear of loss. Fear of grief, specifically. Grief over, not necessarily the loss of a family member, but the loss of the idea or concept of family. Maybe even found family. How do we lose family? We move away. We get divorces. We grow up and move out of our parents' home. As far as found family, we have a disagreement and, we part ways. Um, this fear was established in this person's childhood. They may have some abandonment wounds. They're taking action. They could be going to therapy. Maybe that's why I said something along the lines of exposure therapy. I'm not sure how one would expose themselves to loss. What are you going to do? Intentionally uh, get a companion and, that's not right. Um, I guess maybe you could expose yourself to loss by just picturing the loss of a friend or family member, um, bringing yourself to those places while you are sleeping or meditating. Um, you could also just be in therapy and discussing this with a therapist. Also, maybe music, specifically listening to songs about breakups, songs about crying, songs that make you cry. So, whoever this person is, I gotta say kudos. Like, I'm proud of anybody. 1212 on the timer as I look up. I'm proud of anybody that really um, faces those things. Um, it is hard to stare one's fears, and especially fear of grief. It's hard to stare one's grief down. Um, okay, yeah. And so I see somebody like sitting on the floor, just like I described I told you about my last psychedelic experience. Sitting on the floor, meditating, lying down on the floor, meditating, really grounding oneself to just stare those fears down. Um, great. Great. Uh, it's making this person miss out on something, though. Maybe even just like miss out on life. Um, very Four of Cups energy. Uh, so if the friends call, it's no, I can't go out tonight, and maybe you're making excuses. The dog is not feeling well, or I need to wash my hair. Uh, but truth be told, you're just unwilling to break focus on that meditating. And who am I to tell you to break focus? Maybe you shouldn't be going out with your friends. Um, okay, so tell me about this childhood abandonment wound. What does that stem from? What is it related to? Oh, related to money, related to stability, related to um, not necessarily just financial abundance, but just having enough. This person could feel grief anytime their bank account gets below a certain number. For some reason, I'm being reminded of like my grandpa requiring the gas tank to never go below like half. Sometimes he would let it get between the half and the quarter tank left, but very rarely. And that has a lot more to do with my grandpa had like having this impeccable commitment to his cars running optimally for as long as they can. But it also, it's funny because it's like, well, some of us can't afford to fill it up every time it makes it to half. It's like we have to wait until the next paycheck comes, and if that doesn't come between now and when it gets to half, we're screwed. But there's a facing a lack mentality. And this could have been put there by the father. I don't want to say it, but I also want to say that maybe daddy was a drinker, and a lot of the family funds went to alcohol. Okay. Tell me more about this meditation practice. Okay. During this meditation practice, there's a lot of like downloads coming in and just activating of the crown. Yeah, so I want to say that maybe telling my psychedelic experience story could have resonated. Like, it's not every day you see one of your deities so clearly. It kind of does require being somewhat medicated. At the very least, like you need to be in some sort of a trance. So that's not going to happen if you are meditating immediately after your workout. That's not going to happen if you're only getting in a 20-minute meditation. Like you've got to be sitting there for a while and potentially even have it be completely silent, or at the very least like only like Hertz music, or maybe drums. Anyways, there's a lot of activity up here, and there might even be some like out of body experiences. Okay, the Queen of Swords in the reverse and the Sun upright. And you may be meeting a deity during these meditations. One that kind of it reminds me of like Hecate, or well, the Morrigan too. Inanna as well. They're very motherly energies, and they're also absolutely not. We're talking about like a motherly energy that is not going to tuck you in and tell you a bedtime story. This is kind of a cold mother. This is kind of a distant mother, but they have this warmth that manifests inside you. And it's funny because it's like, I know I have some wounds when it comes to feminine people, motherly energies specifically. The more warm a motherly energy tries to be towards me, the more cold I feel. I do not interpret warmth and nurturing as safe or loving, because it's so foreign to me. So I like the way that Hecate comes forward. I like the way that the Morrigan comes forward. I feel nurtured by energies like that. I feel uncomfortable in the presence of, say, Aphrodite or not Isis, because I obviously, here's her talisman here, but well, it's not important. Uh, fear, fear. More messages on fear. And yeah, I'm associating the false evidence appearing real. These motherly energies that are willing to give it to you straight, and are a little bit more cold and observant rather than, warm and enveloping, is what I want to say. Um, yeah, the false evidence appearing real. They will break you out of rumination, which I think is why this meditation is going so smooth. You're not ruminating anymore. Okay, final messages on fear. Okay, yeah, and back to that rumination. You are getting real with yourself about the time loops that you get stuck in. This may be, especially when you are at home. I want to say maybe there's a tendency to um, maybe sit down and take a break between each task, and those breaks get you stuck. Um, you're processing what task you just did, you're thinking about the task you're about to do, but then you start daydreaming. Then you start thinking about how yesterday went and what is tomorrow gonna be. So whatever it is that you've been doing, this meditating for sure, it's making those time loops shorter and shorter and shorter. And your day is progressing easier. So, okay. You're overcoming the fear of having somebody approach you with offers, and you're not viewing it, like I was talking about the motherly energies that make me feel uncomfortable. You're not viewing every single person that approaches you as a threat. uh good for you. Because the whole world is not actually out to get you. I know that when we get stuck in these ruminations, it can definitely feel that way. Um, okay. This childhood wound is somehow also related to morality. Um, and I'm hearing the golden rule. Um, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think somewhere along the way you may have realized that that's not always how it plays out. That they're having a healthy level of fear about how people may return the energy, good, bad, or otherwise, is actually a way to protect oneself from those abandonment wounds being reopened. Because what's worse than going through the process of meditating and healing than being met with people that are just gonna re-wound you? So you're maybe understanding what healthy fear and a very unhealthy level of fear look like, sound like, feel like. Okay, I want to say you're also overcoming a fear of the sun. Take that how it resonates. I got a wicked sunburn on my back last week because I put sunscreen on here, 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 stopped. Just nothing on my back. So, like, my knees got a little bit red and my back got super red. Um, I shouldn't be fearful of the sun, but I should remember to apply the sunscreen everywhere. But I'm not necessarily saying that you're fearful of getting a sunburn, but maybe you have become kind of fearful of the light. Not leaving the house unless it's before this time or after this time. Um, Something about the middle of the day has become a time to hole up and meditate. And maybe you're finally realizing, like, it's okay to, I don't know, maybe take my meditations out into the sun. And I also get the sense that maybe along with this developing a healthy fear of the people that you are engaging with, there is a overcoming the fear of engaging altogether. Okay, and Fucking hell, yeah. Like, the last message is you are facing the fear of being seen, the fear of perception. If you have any sort of neurodivergent tendencies whatsoever, it is completely normal for neurodivergent brains to have a fear of perception, especially when you are unmasked. So I want to say that, you are attempting to head out into the world in a different energy, unmasked, more authentically yourself, more present. But there is a fear that if you are more like the you that you are at home, when you are most comfortable, people will see. And that is true, they will. But it does not mean that people are going to call you weird, that they're not going to like you. I mean, it might, that's a possibility, but that's always a possibility. And keeping yourself from engaging is putting yourself into isolation. And that is just going to bring the rumination loops back. So be careful, be careful. Don't do that. Don't hole yourself back up because you feel like, you healed and now you don't want anybody else to hurt you. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, be well, be you.